Howdy, Possum Patty here, and I have a new school supply from the Dollar Tree to review. Come on along. Now, I was admiring the huge wall of school supplies at the Dollar Tree, and I noticed this fountain pen. I don't remember seeing a fountain pen at the Dollar Tree before. Maybe they had it when, they bring out the school supplies and then they don't have it the rest of the year. So I decided to get this and try it out. So I'm going to review this. You might remember a few days ago I got these marvelous glitter pens at the Dollar Tree, and I've been playing with those, and I thought I would play with the fountain pen. Now I do have a few fountain pens that are a little bit more expensive than this one, so I thought I would try and get this together, try it out, and maybe compare it to some of the pens that I already have. So let's get started. Alrighty, I have gathered up some supplies to do a little fountain pen play here and compare the pen that I already have to the JOT pen. Now, disclaimer, I am by no stretch of the imagination an expert in fountain pens. I do not even own an expensive fountain pen. I do have a few that are, I don't know, maybe $25 or less. And I'm going to compare them with the $1.25 pen. All right, let's start with the basics here. This is black ink in a jar, and this is from Noodler's ink. Noodler's ink, Noodler ink. And this is just black. I think this one's called Bulletproof. This one's called Bulletproof. And use this with a dippy pen, which is basically just a handle with a point that you can pull out and put in different sizes. You might want a smaller one or a larger one. These actually look like the same, but you might have ones with wider points on them to do calligraphy. And this is very inexpensive, probably $2 or something. And you just dip it in the ink, okay? And you just write. Oops. If you press too hard, you split that little point on the end. Now, like I said, I haven't done this in a while. And then you feel like, those people in the movies, when they're writing with their feather quills. This is kind of scratchy, but it's good just for some kind of play. Not my fave. I think I had this before I had any of the others. And you have to kind of learn the ins and outs of each particular pen. This would do for some sketching. But you can see how much fun this would be just to do some mark making on like maybe a mixed media page. Okay, I'm just going to wipe that off. So that is just what I call a dippy pen. A dip it in the ink and you write with it, play with it, sketch with it. This is a bamboo pen. I actually bought a set of these at the Hobby Lobby. But I have just used a stick, gone out into the yard, got a stick, made a little point on it, and I've wrote with that, but I don't know if I still have that stick. It might be around somewhere. So again, this is just a dippy pen made from a natural object, and you can just play with it. Okay, right now I'm loving it more than the other one. It's not scratching at all. It's actually writing pretty smoothly and holds a bit of ink. Look at that. Kind of like this. Okay, this is getting scored higher than the than the metal tip right now. Isn't that great? Now, I can imagine playing like this. You know, you're doing some mixed media, or you just want to do some mark making. This is a lot of fun. All right, so this is a bamboo twig. A bamboo twig. I'm going to wipe some of that extra ink off so it doesn't clog it up too much. Alrighty, and let me just show you these. These are Pentel, these are Japanese brush pens. And the reason I have these in with the fountain pens, because they do take, wait. Before we go any further, Possum Patty, close the ink and move it aside. Oops, that could go very, very wrong. All right, so these are Pentel, P-E-N-T-E-L, I believe it is. Pentel, yeah, T-E-L, Pentel. And it's a Japanese brush pen. And the reason I have these with my fountain pens, because it does have the little cartridge in it of ink. And you just replace the cartridge. And actually, I just replaced the cartridge. And then you're right with it. Very expressive. As you can see, it's got a much thicker line than the stick. You can go thinner if you don't press so hard. Now this might be a little dry because I just filled it up. Although I have two. I don't know which one is the one I just filled up. Let's see. Go in both directions. Thicker line, thin line. You can imagine them doing, you know, calligraphy with the Japanese characters with this. How nice is that? You can almost get like a little dry brush effect, sketching with it. And this is just very fun to play with too. So this is Pentel brush pens, but they do have these cartridges inside. Okay, moving on. This is my next cheapest fountain pen, and this is a Sheaffer pen. Pretty cheap. Does take cartridges. You can see they have an open barrel here, so you can look inside and see that how much ink is in the cartridge. Writes nice. You can go fast and the ink is flowing. Don't have to worry about going slow. You got lots of ink in the cartridge, and you can just play with your mark making. You can move as carefully as you want or quickly. You get a pretty good flow with this. And this is Sheaffer. Probably more expensive than this one. But, you know, still, I don't know what this costs, $3 or $4. I'll have to look that up. The Pentels, these are not cheap. Let me tell you, the Pentels are not cheap. Now, I have two Lamys, and I learned about Lamys, L-A-M-Y, at Sketchbook School. And why do you have two? Well, because, you know, you can put different colored inks in them. You know, you can have one with a, say, a gray ink and one with a black ink. So when you're sketching, you can do some tonality in there. Or you can put red in one and blue in the other. It doesn't matter. You can have several fountain pens and actually fill them up with different colors. And that'll bring some, you know, color to your sketches. Now this one, I don't know if there's anything in this one right now. All right, this is empty. The little cartridge says right on there, Lamy. So do I have some Lamys in here? I probably do. And that's a Sheaffer. Okay, I need to order some Lamy refills. So here's my little Lamy refill thing there. And these are all Sheaffer and Pentel. Now, I don't think... See, that's the thing about using different brands, is they're different sizes. All right, so I need to get some refills for the Lamy. Let me see. Oh, no, wait a minute. I take that back. I take that back. Oh, some more Pentels. Wow, I got a lot of Pentel refills here. And all right, this is a refillable ink cartridge. And you stick the end into the bottle of ink, and there's a little plunger in there, so you push the plunger down, and then you wind it back up, and it fills the cartridge with ink. Should I try that right now? Like I said, I haven't played with these in a while. I bet you it was Inktober the last time I played with these. Now, I usually make a huge mess when I do this. All right, let's see. Let's see how this goes. All right. So you can see the little plunger inside. So I'm putting the plunger all the way down. Well, I've never done this on camera before. It's always a first time. I'm going to try, get some ink in here. Let's see which way we have to go that way. Okay, I've got some ink in there. Oops. Don't want to touch anything. The pen is not open. All right, we're going to sit there. I told you to make a mess. That's okay. Open the pen. I probably make it a lot messier than it actually is. Okay, now that goes in there. Just push that in. And then you close it up. Now, if you get the Noodler's ink right away, it's going to come off. Because it's water-based ink. And so, just squirt it right away. So I don't have any of these pre-filled cartridges for the Lamy, but with the refillable one, I can just use some of my black ink or whatever color ink I have. I can change colors every time I use the pen. It doesn't matter. And probably going to have to wet the... Does this seem like a lot of work to you? Only because I haven't used these since last year. And so, you know, I just got them out. But this has got a flat tip and not a sharp point. So you can, you know, do some fancy calligraphy. I don't know calligraphy. Sorry about that. Got to get this primed up here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So let's see. This is the Lamy with the flat point. Fun to play with. Lamy. You can see the difference between this one and this one. So that is the Lamy. Now my favorite out of all of these is this orange one. And this is also a Lamy. This is called Safari, but I bet you this one's empty too. Yes, it is. All right, so before Inktober comes, I need to order some Lamy cartridges. So this is my fave, and I can't show it to you, but I should have waited and put the refillable cartridge that I put in here into here. That is okay. That is okay. All right, on to the Dollar Tree. So you get the pen, the cap, it has a point, and you get 2 refills. I don't know if there's one already in there. Twist the barrel, insert the cartridge, insert tightly to avoid leaking. To close the pen, screw the top back onto the nib. Oh, that's what these things are called, nibs, I guess, nibs. I told you I wasn't an expert. It may take a few minutes for the ink to reach the nib. Keep the cap on to prevent the ink from drying out. So you saw I got all these going except for the empty one, and they probably have not been touched since last October. And I did play with one of the Pentel brushes because it was empty, so I put a cartridge in it before I started. So that's what that shmoo at the top is. All right, so here we go, the JOT calligraphy pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Okay. Because I'm keeping what I have here. So when I go for refills, I've got the information there. And it's small. I like this. This is a good size. This one's a little long, but I like the flat tip. This is perfect for me. This is a little small. So unscrew it. And then you take the ink, this side here, and push it down in there and make sure it's tight. And screw this back on. And I will play with this for a minute here. They had a few different designs. Sort of summery looking designs, like watermelons and lemons. This one is tropical leaves, it looks like. I'm going to touch that water there. Should we time this? Should we time this? Should I leave this in real time so we can see just how long it takes for that ink to come down? You can always go back and check and make sure you've got that cartridge in all the way. Whoops. Because that piece in there has to poke into there. It doesn't look like anything is really gone out on it yet. Okay, I might just turn the camera off. Maybe I could time this until I get something to come out of the pen. I think the ink has come down. I believe I am writing with the ink that was in the pen. All right, so let us now. All right, so now you can see that if I've had no experience with a fountain pen, just how frustrating this would have been. And you gotta be careful. You press too hard on the paper and you have a pointy point, you might pick up some of the paper fibers on the end. So you just want to make sure that, you know, the end is pretty clean there. So this is the Dollar Tree fountain pen. Has a very thin point. You can already see a problem here, right? It came with 2 refills, but they don't sell a package of refills. Well, at least at this Dollar Tree, they didn't have them. I'm going to have to go to another Dollar Tree and see, you know, if they actually sell the refills. Because you can go through that cartridge pretty quick, and then you have one backup, and that is it. Now, I'm not getting a really dark line, but that's okay. You know, if you like a lighter line, it's not very bold at all. And you saw how nicely everything else worked on here. So when you're getting a fountain pen, you want to make sure that you can get refills, number one, and you want to investigate, are you getting a pen that has just cartridges, or are you getting a pen that has the refillable cartridge? So, you know, these are good for traveling. Like if you're journaling and you're taking your journal somewhere and, you know, you run out of ink, you know, you might not want to carry a bottle of black ink with you when you go somewhere. So if you had a couple of cartridges, this is awesome. Also, if you want to change colors and stuff, cartridges are great. More expensive that way, of course. If you're just doing it at home, you know, the bottle of ink is probably the way to go. Unless you don't like to get messy, then you can just keep using the cartridges. But this ink almost looks gray compared to Sheaffer's, for instance. Very light, very light. I don't recommend this pen at all. This is not sponsored by Dollar Tree or JOT. For anybody's first fountain pen, I think they would find this very frustrating and they wouldn't like the result. I mean, because, you know, for a couple of bucks, you can pick up a Sheaffer's. You know, these are not expensive. Well, there it is on the end. Okay. And this is a looks like 8 millimeter Sheaffer F. I'm done playing with the Dollar Tree fountain pen because I finally got it to work and now it's not working. So I hope this review was worth watching. Now don't buy this pen. No, don't buy this pen. Get a stick and a bottle of ink. You'll have more fun. Or get a cheap Sheaffer's pen. Or if you can find a Lamy on sale. Sometimes they have sales on these Lamys. You can find the Lamy on sale and you can get cartridges and refillable cartridges. So thanks for coming along today for this review of the Journaling by JOT calligraphy pen. Awesome Patty, not recommended. Get anything else, get a stick and a bottle of ink, you'll have more fun. Bye-bye now.